what the Moa and Noni did to me on that call.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
But it's not. I didn't bring up the fact that I'm off my thyroid pill too. I haven't taken it because of the Noni and Moa. Well, actually, it was because of the Triangle of Health. But I had symptoms of being overdosed, so I quit taking it. I decreased it till, and then I went in and finally called and made an appointment to have my blood work done, and they said, no, you don't need thyroid. My doctor swore up and down, you never get off your thyroid. Once you're on it forever. And I'm like, no. And he looked at the
Let me tell you,
results and he
Doc.
goes, and then he tried to say, well, then there was really nothing wrong. Well, then why were you prescribing me for with a thyroid pill if there was nothing wrong with me?
Yeah. Careful for that lawsuit you're trying to walk yourself into, Doc. Settle down.
Oh, and he goes, and I told him, I says, I quit taking it because I looked up the symptoms of why I was dizzy and this and that. And they go, and that's what the symptoms was being overdosed by your thyroid medicine. And I started at a 25. And when I got off of it, I was at a 75. So I had decreased it where I was taking like half a pill, thinking, well, maybe it's just too much. Still had the same symptoms, went to a half of a half,
Hmm.
same symptoms. So I quit taking it altogether. And then I called and made, because to do the local one at the hospital, it's like $3,000, and I can get an appointment up in Kalispell, and it's like $300, I think it was, to have all my blood work done.
Oh, yeah.
I can afford that since I pay out of pocket, even though we have insurance. We don't have, like, basically it's for major medical.
Right. Yeah.
So we went up there and paid for it, and I had my blood test and that, and it says, I made sure that I had my stuff done for my thyroid because I said, I don't think I need to be on it anymore. And I want to make sure. And I had the results sent to my doctor, and he's like, whoa, And then when I told him, I was like, you can't do that with that. Oh my God. And he's the type of person who likes homeopathic kind of stuff, but wasn't his idea.
Right of
And
first refusal. It's a very important thing in some lives. I don't think people understand the depth to which right of first refusal takes you. You know,
mm-hmm.
my ex uh was somebody like that. Just always wanted the right of first refusal.
And I'm like, that's fine. But he says, and then I lost a bunch of weight too. And he said, well, that's probably it. And he grumbled.
He's grumbled about it.
And then my blood pressure was still a little bit borderline. And Paul was really worried about me. And then now that's all. And Paul's to the point that he only takes a pill maybe once a week. He can tell when his blood pressure gets out of whack. He can feel it. So he'll go put the pressure cup on and go, ooh, that's too high. And he'll go take a pill. But most of the time he doesn't take one because as long as he stays on all of his meds. And that's like, I remembered this part to take today, but I forgot all my pills at that house. So either I have Paul go and pick them all up for me, which he might do, or I'll just take them tomorrow because I don't leave the shop once I'm here for 10 hours usually.
Right.
So did James make it home, or is he still in the air?
I believe he's home
He
because
shouldn't be
I
wanting to get
believe
up. He should sleep. He's gonna need to sleep.
did it just pop up? It did pop a brand new one. Ugh. Okay.
Good morning, Miss Shelley.
Good morning,
Good
Miss Shelley.
morning. How is
Very
everybody today?
Fabulous.
good,
Absolutely
good,
fabulous.
good. I had a baby hawk laying on or sitting on my arbor. He must have flew down from his tree and doesn't know how to get back up.
Oh
Oh,
no.
We've had hawks in our yard now for the last 5 or 6 years, so it's not
just the
unusual.
nest is upstairs. Yeah.
Well, it's
And by
not the
upstairs, I
tree.
mean it's like up, higher up. And
Yeah, well, our trees are like 80 feet in the air.
yeah.
So the one that's closest to where he's at is not the tree that his mama's got and daddy's got him nested in. It's the one further back behind. And but he's sitting on top of my arbor, and we'll see.
Question for an
Go ahead.
underactive. I'm going to interrupt for a second. I just looked inside the Warrior Movement support group. What products would you recommend for an underactive thyroid?
I took the Triangle Health, so I would say the Noni and Moa.
Yeah, it's literally the question that got put in at 4 o'clock this morning.
Did anybody answer it?
Nope. Go right ahead. It's all yours.
Oh, well, I can go in and say something. I have to
Yep,
get
it's
off
all
of here
you.
and go do that.
I'm dropping that one on you right now. That's literally the last question that was asked in there.
I saw that, but I didn't know because I was told that I'm not supposed to say anything medical.
You don't have to say anything medical. What you can say is,
This is what worked for me.
uh, yeah, you can say what worked for me was Noni Moa.
Yeah.
Specifically for you.
Okay, mine came under more control or whatever. I don't even take a pill anymore, but it may work different for everyone.
Yeah, so
Okay.
don't give them your complete results. Just say what worked for me was Noni and Moa. That's actually
Okay.
perfect. Because she's just looking for recommendations, and I'm assuming I don't know if the product guide has anything in for it, so I have to look in there again. Y'all, all four of my outfits
Are here or just
are
designed?
are designed.
You already got them?
No, she's gonna ship them to me next month. Um, or actually, I think she said August. She's gonna ship them to me in August. Um, but
Okay. I just put like what you said.
good answer.
What worked for me was in Moa and or Noni and Moa. So
Yep,
they
perfect
can
answer.
try that. And it does work for me. And I can tell when I forget to take it because my shaking will come back.
Wow.
Ken will too. That's how Ken knew that the other product wasn't working right. Because his
Well,
shaking came back.
I've noticed, and so I went off of the supplements for about a week, maybe a week and a half. I don't know, some extended period of time, and I'm getting old, y'all. Um, I started like having arthritis in my thumb, and I'm like, what is happening with me right now? I never hurt right here, and I'm like, ew, this sucks. I'm going back on
I'm
my
gonna. I
now.
heard to take the Luma. Is that what they said?
Which
Somebody
one?
said Lima. Limu.
Limu.
I'm gonna start taking the Limu because I took it for a while, but I haven't been taking it. I think I'll leave some here at the shop, and because somebody said it really helped with their inflammation and aches.
Yeah, mine. I was just taking the optimals, really.
Well,
And
I take all the optimals except this morning. I forgot and
yeah,
left them.
yeah. And I just stopped taking everything for like a week, just for fun, you know.
Want to
And
see how you feel?
I'm all like, "Oh, this is not pleasant."
One of my downlines, she was trying to tell Paul, "Oh, I don't think I need to take the Moa and Noni anymore. I think I'm fine." She went off of it for out now a couple of weeks, and she's calling him. I hurt, and she says, "Yeah. So what aren't you taking?"
Mhm.
She was like, "Oh." She's,
It
"I was
is a
hoping I
real
wouldn't have to
situation.
take it anymore because it's expensive." And I go,
No,
"Pain, no pain."
yeah, like these are your options
What?
right now.
I
What's the
have a
word to you?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Hmm.
have a question. What if somebody waited and waited and waited to take the drops?
Yeah.
She had them, but she didn't take them, and now
Okay.
she says she does. And now she says she doesn't. Excuse me. She doesn't like the taste of them. I mean,
You only have you
I
have
wanted to
30
say
days.
taste. I wanted to say taste or fat, but I, I didn't say that. So what is a good thing to tell her?
Tell her that she doesn't get her money back because you have to get them back within 30 days. That's all you have.
It's a 30-day.
Yeah,
It's a 30-day money back guarantee. So if the only thing that's bothering her is the flavor,
Get
Take it.
over it.
Yeah,
thank you, Michelle.
I mean,
is what?
it's like 2 minutes, or like you to leave it under your tongue for what? Count of 6,
10
something like
10
count
seconds.
it 10 seconds. So count to 10, swallow. Then they don't
Go
really
on with
want
your
you to
life.
drink something, but drink something, and then
Yeah,
do the next one and drink something. It's not that bad, and you start taking it after a while. You don't even notice the taste.
right.
Right.
But I was wondering what we could give her as an example, you know?
Example of good morning, Mama Sandy.
Morning.
An
To
example
change
to take them.
change the taste to change the taste a little bit.
Well, the taste, you give it a few days and you won't even notice it. I mean, it does seem strong, but think about it. You take it. Do you want the results or no results? I mean, I have people that don't like the Moa and Noni, and I'm like, well, I don't like. Or I had people that didn't like the blueberry juice,
I know,
and
isn't
I'm
that
like,
crazy?
I hate blueberries. I said, oh my goodness, it's an ounce. You
You
can't
know what,
swallow it
Doc?
down and drink something else with it?
If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, like what you're saying, there are so many things that I never liked, but for my health, I didn't care.
Yeah.
If you've ever had pure aloe vera juice,
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That is
and I
I
nasty.
love all of y'all for that reaction.
and I started out with that many years ago. So, for what I wanted it for at the time, I mean, you suck it up.
Yeah.
Father
Yeah.
John's back. Father John's. I'm in that generation. My father would gag, but I said, "You're taking this."
Like, this isn't a question, Pops. You taking it.
I mean,
Right.
really, do you want the health benefits or do you want to be unhealthy? That's the thing. I
Right.
mean, there's things in life that you have to take. Now, if the doctor told you that you had to take this, I mean, I've had cough syrup that I hated, but I took it because I had to take it.
Right.
So it's just like any medicine. You may not like it, but honey, do you want to have results or do you want to be unhealthy? I mean, you have choices. I mean, and a
Well,
lot of times it's all in their head. They say they
Yeah.
don't want to do it, so they want to say, I'm not going to do it. Oh, it tastes nasty. I don't think it
Yeah.
tastes that bad, really. The other stuff's sweet, and the other one's a little bit a
are we
little
talking about
warmer.
more
No, we're talking about the drops.
or the drops?
I
Oh,
mean, they're not that bad. I mean, I've had a lot worse.
hey, I grew up
Yeah.
on a generation. I took things that they tell you don't take internally. My mother gave me turpentine for
Ooh,
worms. For
What?
worms. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the older generation.
that was, yeah.
Turpentine, and that's supposed to be not taken internally in today's world.
Oh no,
Oh
I
God, no.
took coal oil,
Yeah.
coal oil with sugar, with
yep.
sugar.
Good morning
Makes
to
the
the
medicine go
Jerry and the
down.
And
interpreter.
castor oil.
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
And
yeah.
I
castor oil.
still,
Oh, oh,
I put right now. I put
Cod
castor oil
liver.
in my
I used,
belly button. I don't take it internally, but
yeah,
I put it in my belly button because it's to supposedly clears up your kidneys and your liver on in
yep,
your belly button.
I just
yeah.
read that. I just read that. That's
Yeah,
pretty interesting about your belly
When you
button.
start it, stay close to the bathrooms.
yeah, and I took it to go into labor both times. I took it to go into labor both times. Castor oil.
I remember my grandmother giving me cod liver oil, and you guys, that stuff was nasty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Um,
remember cod liver oil with, oof, yeah.
Yeah.
and
Remember?
and it's
Yeah.
still good for you. I
Shackley.
mean,
Yeah, it's good for you. She has a Shackley dealer. There's another
Yeah, you
element.
did. They didn't
yeah.
have pills when I was a kid. It was just the oil. Ew.
I
Nasty.
remember we'd go to grandma's house. She got her spoon out there, and every morning we got cod liver.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'd let it.
Yeah, the part where
It's
my
good
brain
for
remembers the
you.
flavor. Yeah, that's how bad that was.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And Mama said you're still alive and kicking. I'm not dead.
Okay,
No.
it wouldn't kill us, but
No,
but
no.
kill you, make you stronger. Here's your line.
Just like a good whipping don't kill you.
Okay,
These kids,
makes you
today's
stronger.
world, in today's world, as they would say, I'd snatch a knot in their rear ends.
I
I know
grew
where you
up.
came from and I know where you're going.
Okay, all right.
There was no spare the rod, or
That's
spoil
the
the
truth,
child.
and
It
that's
was.
scriptural, Twyla. That's in the
Yep.
Bible.
I remember my mom had corporal punishment for everything,
Corporal.
more or less. She lined us up, and we had to confess who did it, or we all got a spanking.
Exactly. And now it's so horrible. The parents, I mean, if you
They
spank your
get turned
child and you're
in.
not
They can call the
children and family or whatever, they'll put you in
yeah
jail now. And
family
they don't
Well,
want to
they don't
deal with it.
necessarily put you in jail, but they'll come and do a monitoring. My girlfriend's daughter was in the grocery store one time, and she was her daughter is very theatrical, and she's in there, and her mom, I think, told her no, she couldn't have something, and she goes, "Oh, mom, don't beat me, don't beat me." She had CSS or CSI or whatever it is at her house for a month because somebody turned her in.
Oh my.
Wow. That's
And her daughter,
crazy.
all she did was tell her daughter no, and the thing, and then she says, "Oh, mom, don't beat me." And she looked at her and said, "Sir, quit that."
Hey, I always tell them,
She never beat her
you want to
daughter, and
take her.
but they were there. They came in and assessed the house to make sure that she wasn't being abused.
When our kids were young, when they were really not good, Randy would take him over his knee and give him the belt.
Right.
And Shanna
Yep.
said, "I'm calling the children's hotline." He said, I better make it good then. So you have a reason to
Yeah.
call. That kind
Yeah.
of scared her.
Well, the
Yeah.
other thing is so you don't want to live in this house. They're going to go stick you in some foster care where they beat, bite, and rape, and do everything else. Yep, go for it, honey.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Nothing's
right.
yours.
One of my dad's favorite things to do when we
Hit
were
the
kids.
door.
'Cause my brother and I were a horrible combination as children. And whenever, like, one day we acted up really, really bad. And his mom was taking care of us, and we were just not the best of kids. So he had to come over, pick us up, and was taking us back home, but drove past this building we all knew was St. Elizabeth's mental asylum, like, hospital. Um, and he straight up threatened to just drop us off.
I know.
I was like, okay,
I know.
Paul would make the boys go cut a switch. The one time Blake was told, hey, I was had to go cut a switch. He took an hour and a half to drag a log up to the house.
wow.
It was about that big around, but he was like, I don't know, 7. So it wasn't. Paul laughed so hard that he says, that ain't gonna work. But he just swatted him on with his hand and said, don't do that again. But he said he laughed so long about it for the next days. And then one time he was told Blake he was going to get a spanking, and he goes, so he went upstairs and put on every pair of underwear he could find. He came downstairs and his dad's looking at it, and he's just
Smart kid,
laughing.
smart kid.
My son tells a tale now because he was 15 years old and um I even forgot what he did. But I was gonna make him cry because he wouldn't cry.
Oh,
So I made him bend down over the bed. He had on jeans. I said, "Take those jeans down." And I had him, and I had a belt. And he laughs now because he tells everybody, I was determined I was not going to cry. And he says, "Mom, it didn't hurt." And I'm going, "Oh, okay."
My
Yeah.
mom, my mom spanked my brother at 18. He was 18 years old the last time. She was mad. She broke the broom over him.
Ooh,
And I was
she
like,
was mad.
she was mad. I says, and when she got done, I says, Mom, he's 18 years old. You really shouldn't have done that. Well, what do you want me to do? I says, send him to his room, take something
tell him
away
move
from
out. He's
him,
Take something
18.
away. Take
take
something.
something away from him. But I says, that's humiliating to him. And it didn't make you look very good either.
Yeah, I know.
My kids hate to have to sit on their hands. I
Wow.
found out from my stepmom, she used to do it with her kids when they were little, or even as they got older. If they were told that they had to sit on their hands, Jay would cry. Jay would cry to have to sit on his hands because you can't move.
Yeah.
And he is a moving kid. And when you have to sit there and watch everything, and I made it so they could see what was going on, but they couldn't move. And if they moved their hands, the time started over.
Hmm.
Do you know how hard it is for a kid to sit there for 5 minutes with under their hands? Oh, it's
It's
like
physical torture. It's literal
it's almost.
physical torture.
And I was at church one day, and he was being bad, so I took him out in the hall and was making him sit on his hands. If he's out there bawling and he's telling, and people are walking by, "Help me, please, help
Yeah, my brother is that way. My brother just could not sit still to save his life, and turns out neither can his children. So I was babysitting one day, and I just looked at I was like, I can't hit you because I'm just your uncle, and I'm not going to hit you, but just go stand in that corner and don't move. Just
me."
stand there. Oh
I
my
used
God. You would have thought that I was killing this poor child. He was having a full-blown meltdown. He was like, it just didn't know what to do with himself. I'm like, I literally just said stand there and don't move.
and that's what we did. It was more punishment based, our generation. We didn't whip him as much as I got whippings, but take things away from him. No phone calls. And I used to get upset because I said, you're punishing the whole family because if we wanted to go to the zoo, if we wanted to do anything, the whole family couldn't go because you couldn't leave them at home, but they were just punished and take away the TV, take away whatever. And
Anymore, it's their phone and their games.
yeah, yeah, but these parents in today's world,
I
and then
wish, I wish Paul would have just taken away the games, but he would take and literally break them.
Oh,
I said,
oh,
that's
tear them
honey,
expensive.
up.
there's $80.
Right. That's expensive. Don't do
That's
that.
expensive. I said, well, I'm not. I said, yeah, and then we'll turn around and buy it for him again. I said, can't you just take it, put it in the case, and lock it in the safe?
This one you match me. This one you just match.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but
hilarious.
Shelly, what are
but
you
I
doing?
would get
He's
upset.
talking to somebody.
Sorry, I'm talking to Randy. I'm
Morning,
getting
Oh, hi,
Randy.
ready.
Randy.
Hi,
Hey,
Randy.
Randy. He's
And good
probably
morning, Miss Erica. I do see you there.
Good
He's
morning.
waving. Um, yeah,
That's so funny about this
I
parenting
just
stuff.
got his clothes ready for the graduation. So I
Oh,
asked him which shirt he wanted.
well, kids today, I mean, they're just kind of rewarded for whatever they do, and it's horrible.
It
They laugh at them. They laugh at them when they say terrible things, even though we used to kind of have to hide our face. But you're just, I don't
my
know.
my
It's a
daughter has a pretty good thing. She has a stick thing where she has chores on it. So the chores are by what they pick. And if they want more time on their Game Boys or on their computers or whatever they want to do, they have to do a chore. So she has
wow.
it. So, and they're not hard things like go dust the the wood trim on the floor, sweep the
Yeah.
floor, clean the bathroom, do your, there's 3 bathrooms in her house, so wipe down the mirror in the bathroom. There's just different things. Pick up all your toys. And big thing is they're supposed to clean the rooms every evening or at least straighten them up. Yeah, it doesn't always happen, but she has this stick thing that she puts all those in, and then the kids, if they want more activities to get to do fun things or be on their computer or be on the thing, they have to do something to earn it, and then it gives
Well,
them
that's good.
how many minutes they can do it for. And
You
she
know,
has the
you have to.
Wow.
capability to shut the kids' phones off. She's got that parenting on, even on her 17-year-old son. She can shut his phone off so he cannot be on it after a certain time at night until a certain time in the morning. He can look at the time, he can look at all that. He just can't get on any of his games. He can't do any of this stuff because if she doesn't, I've had him stay up all night playing
Yeah,
games.
well, you know how easy that is to happen, right?
Yeah, I had him.
You
Yeah.
I was
know, I
babysitting one time, and I called his mom later, and I says, I think Kyler was up all night on his um gaming, and she goes, "Oh, okay, I'll take care of that."
yeah,
And
right.
so now she shuts it off, so he has to go to bed. If not, he'll stay up.
I
Yeah.
know. But you have to start young. I mean, you have to start almost from the time they come into the world because if you don't, when it gets out of hand, it's out of
It's too
hand,
late.
and
It's
you
too late
teach.
then.
And
And
I
I
think
always,
I think they took waited too long. He didn't get his phone until he was 15, and most of the time you have it worked out. They gave their last one to their daughter at, I think she was 12. She don't care. She gets on her phone, she does her stuff, then she gets off. But now she's 14. But he's still obsessed with it way more than she was. And I don't think he got that obsession out of him when he was littler. That I think they waited a little too long. I'm
yeah,
not
because
saying, and she, I mean, even then she could have shut his phone off. She had all those capabilities because they bought a phone that they could have parent, and they have to change the age on it because actually at 16 they don't give him the ability. So I think she's got it on there as he's 12, so she can turn on and off his phone.
well, I know Louis probably he's in the generation they didn't have that
I
in
didn't
their
either.
day, but I know our kids we would pop up periodically at the school and they didn't know just to check to see how they were doing, and I can remember the teachers saying to us if all these kids, if the kids that really needed it, if the parents would be more concerned about their children to come to That's see what they're right. doing, Mm-hmm. it would have been better for those teachers. Because I know one time it was Nikki's, I think it was her second or third grade teacher, and we went up there, and the teacher, because Nikki was, my kids were smart. I mean, educate, but she's telling us how Nikki would act out if she got in trouble. She said if looks could kill, and she would just sit there and roll her eyes like at the teacher. And I remember my husband said, well, who's the teacher? Nikki or you? She's got to live in this world. If she's doing these things, you tell us and we'll take care of this at home. But you don't allow her to do that because, we want her to be a citizen of this world that people, I mean, she's got to do things that she does not want to do in this life. So she's not the teacher. She's whatever age she was, I don't know, second, third grade. But she says, well, okay, this is the teacher. We're telling the teacher to discipline our child in one way or the other or let us know because we don't want her going through life like this. Because she doesn't rule anything, she doesn't own anything. And that was another thing in the household. What bills do you pay? Mm, uh,
Y'all know I heard that, right?
yeah, right.
We rich. We ain't rich. I'm rich. You ain't got no money.
So I don't know. The kids today, even my son, and they knew, it's just horrible because it's the parents. It's not the child because you've allowed this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I remember my mom saying, my brother, and he did run away once, but you leave with what you came in the world with. And he
And
goes,
my son
and
did too, Twyla.
my mom said nothing. You can leave with nothing. I can't leave naked.
You
But he
don't
got
have
mad at her one
anything.
time. He rode his bike from Sunny Nation, which is 45 miles into Missoula. He rode it all the way to Missoula, which means he rode it a long ways, and he was headed to Grandma's because Grandma lived uh, in Missoula. He didn't go to the grandma that lived close. And
I
my dad was coming off of work and saw him on his bike, on a banana seat bike. Now, if you guys remember that, we're going to age ourselves,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which means there was no 10 speed, and he went up Ravala Hill or Evero Hill and Ravala Hill, Evero Hill. That them two big hills. We have people that ride it for competitive bicycling. So, and he made it almost to Grandma's. He was probably, oh no, 5 miles from her house.
We had our youngest. I'm just trying to think how old he would have been. 4, maybe. He might have been 5, but he might. And he was really unhappy with whatever we told him he had to do or couldn't do. He said, "Well, I'm running away." And Randy said, "Okay, do you want me to help you pack?" He goes, "No, I can do it." So he gets this little suitcase that has wheels on it, and he packs it up with, I don't know what he packed in it. And we said, "Where are you going to go?" He goes, "I'm not telling you guys." So then he just goes out, and we live in a really tiny town, and he's standing at the corner of the Catholic church with his bag, I guess trying to decide how he's going to get wherever. And we had people phoning us, "Did you know Kelly's running away?" Of course, everybody would have stopped and asked him, "Yeah, we know. He doesn't like our rules, so he's running away." And he comes home after a little while. "I didn't take any food with me."
You're like, actually, you're not allowed to. You gotta buy that. I
Yeah,
know.
that was so funny.
Oh my
That's
He
gosh.
said,
funny.
"I guess I'll stay home now."
Oh,
Probably
kids.
thinking it's too hot out here, and I don't know where to go, and then he probably got scared a little bit. I guess home's better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, when you were talking about the bike, Twilight, my son wanted this particular bike. Well, in our household, you kind of had to earn things. You just weren't given things. So he's bringing home these C's. And we knew, his capabilities. But the thing was, the teacher said he wasn't doing his homework. Well, at home, we're thinking you got to do your homework before you can go out or do whatever. But he was not doing his homework, but he wanted this bike. So we told him, you had to earn this bike. Your grades had to come up. You got to do your homework. Do you know he made straight A's, straight A's to get that bike?
Wow.
Yeah, the power of determination is quite
It
quite
is.
strong.
I had some kids that from church that were really smart, and the kids deliberately did bad in school because they didn't want to be known as the smart kids.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Because
understand
Yeah.
I
that.
mean, because it just put them in a, you're, oh yeah, goody goody, and being teased. I mean, and they were popular kids anyway, but they didn't want to be known as the
You
smart
don't want
kids.
to be you never want to be known as a smart kid. And
Well,
speaking
I
as the smart
was.
kid,
Is
let
it
me tell
time?
you,
I know
you
where you're
don't want to be
coming
known as a
from.
smart kid. You don't.
Because
Why?
even my generation, guys, Mama Sandy was smart, and
Yeah.
I was kind of ostracized by
Yeah.
by the kids, but I didn't care back then. I didn't care. I just was me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was the smart kid. Like that was my thing when I got straight A's. I just did. It's just what I did. I didn't care.
My
It
Right,
was easy for me.
my
And
brother
but
could
I
get
didn't want to
straight
be
A's,
known as a smart kid. It's irritating.
right.
but,
Nikki
but he
was now.
didn't like
Nikki,
my brother. He was smart. Oh my God, he was smart. But he would do a problem until he figured it out, and he didn't have to do it competitive time. So him to do homework was like, once I know how to do it, I don't need. And then it come to the test, he'd ace his test, but he
right?
Hmm.
wouldn't do homework.
And that was Carl. That was my son, Twyla, because they knew test time. He aced those tests, but he
Hmm.
wasn't turning in his homework.
Because it was
Yeah.
boring
This is
and
boring.
competitive, and he didn't want to do it. He says, "I already know how to do this."
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
flat out
he's
boring. I'm like, this is a waste of my time. I can do something
my little
way
brother
fun.
is 6 years younger than me, and he would help me do my homework. That's how
Wow,
smart he was.
Mhm.
wow.
It was like, okay, they got a program at the school one time on how to do put your grades. It was coming into more computerized stuff, how to enter your grades into the school. He learned how to do it and then taught the teachers how to do it.
Right, right. He was smart.
He was smart.
Can I ask you a
Well,
question,
I, I
Twyla?
was the smart kid. I was the smart kid, and my brothers were, we're all 2 years younger than me, each one of them. And I would come home and I had my homework aced, and my brother would say, I can't figure this out. And I'd go over to show him. And he says, how come you're so smart? And I don't know. And I said, I don't know, but I didn't ever, I looked at a book one time and I was able to go do everything that needed to be done, you know, but
That is
my
smart.
brothers never could.
Well, that was me. And even to this day, I don't have good study habits because I just was able to just do things. I could do it without studying. But that changed when I had to go to the university. That really changed because, I found myself being a little fish, whereas I was a big fish, because as you said, from a small town. So I was smart, smart, smart. But then you go into a university and all these smart, wealthy kids. So I became this little fish in the big pond because
Hmm.
everybody was smart, genius. So I kind of had to learn things and discipline myself. I, I had to discipline myself that Sandra, you're not as smart as you thought. Uh, my daughter is the same thing. She where she was valedictorian, and they said from kindergarten through 12th grade, she was number one because they were watching her, and we didn't even know that. I think not until she was seventh grade that they had her. She was winning all these things, presidential things, and she had every award there was when she graduated from high school. And she had a full ride to the University of Illinois, but she didn't want that. She went to Purdue. She wanted to go to Georgia Tech because she was going to be an engineer. Um, and the kid was smart, but at the same time, it was the same situation. At home, yeah, you didn't have to do all this studying because all this studying to really stay up there. So her freshman year, I mean, she suffered. She suffered the consequences. So I said, "Oh, okay, okay." But all of her degrees, like she has 3 masters now. She should have a doctorate, but she don't care. She really does not care. My child, and it's a wonderful thing. I think it's good because none of this, you would not know her accomplishments in the sense of because she's a beautiful individual. It didn't, all these things didn't go to her head. But every degree that she got, she said, "Here, mom, this is yours," because she said
Oh,
you didn't
wow.
you didn't finish, so this is for you. So I've got everything she's ever done because she could care less. And I had they had I remember the company had something and sent me somewhere to learn something, I don't know, in terms of teamwork and whatever. And they kind of analyzed me. And I'm one of these people that I could care less. You got people that put things in, they want to showcase them and they want to tell everything that they did and all, but I'm the kind of person, and so is my child, that you would never know our accomplishments because I could care less. They're stuck in a drawer. We don't hang them on a wall. We don't showcase nothing. So I guess when we die, you'll find these things to say, what? She did this? Because we could care less. Because we're just people, and people are people. We
Sometimes it
love
Yeah.
doesn't pay
people.
to get a doctorate because then you overclass yourself for a job. They'll say you got too much.
Are
They don't want.
overqualified.
You're overqualified and they won't hire you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I think is the silliest statement ever made by a human. I'm
isn't
sorry,
it?
you're overqualified for this job. Which
Isn't
means
it?
I can do it. So give me the job.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, how else are you going to get even? I used to say, however, how you're going to get experience? If you
Right.
don't hire me, how am I going to get experience to do anything?
Hmm.
Well,
So
what I went to school for was exterior design, and I tried to get a job in it, and they wanted you to have at least a year or 2 years experience, but nobody would hire you.
right,
Yeah.
So how do you get
right.
the experience? And that's what I asked them. I said, how do you get the experience if nobody will hire you and put you at a low level job to
You
get
know
the
what,
experience?
Twyla? The job that I retired from at 50 years, I didn't tell them. I didn't, later on, it probably was maybe 10 or 15 years later because I really didn't get my degree in because I went to school pre-med, and later on I did not put down all my credentials, and I just my accomplishments, I had to work my way into, because accounting, oh, I hate it, but that's where I ended as an accountant. But I didn't have a degree in accounting. But I did not tell them when I got hired my background. I did not put everything down to get hired there. But I went there to work 5 years. So I did, like they said, you got the five in because I did 50. But I
Yeah,
went there to
Wow.
work five. I went there to work 5 years.
you got it in there a few times over.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I hear you. This overqualified, and I remember later on I tried to get a friend in there. Um, and they said she was overqualified because she put down everything. It wasn't in my area that she was trying. I just wanted her to get in the company, and they did not hire her because of her credentials.
My
Yeah, it's
daughter
kind
went
of
to school for
silliness.
sports medicine for 2 years and then moved to a different state, and it was too expensive to go to school. And now she has her degree, but it isn't in sports medicine. But she's a track coach and has been one for 14 years now. And the sports medicine person comes in, and Sam will say, she will tell the kids, well, I think this is what's wrong with you, but go see the sports therapist or the person on duty. And the ones in the past have been really good with it, but the one she has now is snarky. She actually helped her graduate from her sports medicine class because she didn't know stuff, so she'd call Sam. But yet now she's snarky with her, like, well, just go ask Sam. She knows it all. I have the degree. And Sam's like, that's not what I'm saying. I said, I know it and looking at, but I want you guys to make sure, and then you need to go have it checked out. And that's what she always tells the kids
Isn't that
when she's.
ugly?
It drives her nuts. Her degree is in hotel and what is it?
Hospitality, like entertain.
Hospitality, hotel,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, and
Hospitality and hotel
those are
management.
high end jobs.
and it. Well, that she didn't want to do that. She does like videography and stuff.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
takes I mean, she can do a really nice layout, and it looks like it's professionally done. Yes,
Jerry, I don't know. Jerry's hands are moving, so I'm assuming he was talking.
he's shut. Oh, there
He
you go.
says, I'm talking to the interpreter, letting him know that we're almost done because he has
Okay,
to
cool.
go do what he says. Yeah, because I have to
Okay.
leave.
All right, I wasn't sure if he wanted to talk to us or not. All right. Morning, Jerry. And he's correct. We are actually almost done. It is 8 minutes to the hour.
Ooh, yeah.
Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Midweek Mayhem Day. So we have this meeting now. We have the IPA call next at 7 a.m. We have the BOC call at 8. And thank God we got Miss Melissa to cover the call because Mr. Harper is actually the one during the call and he could not moderate and do the call. So Miss Melissa is going to be our back end moderator. Mr. Harper is going to be the speaker on the call today. So definitely chime in for that one. For those of us that are still doing stuff, I think that there is also a F10X council meeting this morning at 9 a.m. It is Wednesday, which also means that for those of us who are in the Millionaire Mentorship group, that is also this afternoon at 4 p.m. Hi, Mama Sandy. It's this afternoon, Wednesday, 4 p.m. I love you. And let's see. I don't know
Can you
if there's
send
another
that
one.
link? Can you send that link for that? Because for whatever reason, I don't know.
They'll put it in they
In
always
the
post it
Millionaire
inside
Mentor?
in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll put it in the chat. It's also on the Facebook page as well. That link is permanently there.
Okay.
So the sheets,
I
the
mean, I'll be at work, but
yeah,
I'm gonna
the
try
three
to hop on.
spreadsheets are there. The link to the um Zoom is there, and there's a third thing that's like there are three things that are permanently there. Love you so
Love
much,
you
Miss
too,
Gloria.
Gloria.
She just
She's
bounced.
gone.
And so yeah, if you guys have any questions throughout the day,
You too,
feel
Twyla.
free to call, hit us up, do whatever. Just FYI, we are having a meeting out here in San Diego this afternoon. This evening, I should say. So I'll be hanging out with Melissa, John, and Jane this
Oh,
evening.
nice.
So while the millionaire mentorship meeting is going on, so you might see them in the background. I don't know.
That's
Are we
cool.
talking
I
about
may or may
Melissa
not be on
Swan?
Okay.
camera, but they'll be there with me.
Jerry says,
Louis, we
okay,
talking
bye,
about Melissa
everybody.
Swan?
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Jerry.
Bye, Jerry.
Bye, guys.
Louis, is
Yeah.
Melissa going to Dallas?
I don't know. I'll ask her today.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her, and I'm trying to get my newest partner to go as well. So we'll see.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you on the
All right,
next
y'all.
call.
See you ladies on the
guys.
next one. Get
See
out
you
of
on the
here.
next one.
Later.
Love you, Miss Shelley. Tell Mr. Randy we say hi.
I will. He hates being on camera.
I know. We love him though. All right. I'll chat with you guys later.